Hey, everybody. John Granato from the bench. Mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. And AJ Hoffman from the Blitz. He's on afternoons on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Kenny Smith was on Rich Eisen's show. He seemed to take James Harden's side, AJ, on the Rockets drama. He said he understands James wanting to win now, and this team isn't in a position to.
If I was him, this is what I'd be thinking. But am I going to win a championship here with this new regime? I only got about 3 or 4 more years of this where I could carry a team, where I'm carrying a team pretty much basically by myself. If I'm James Harden, that's what I'm saying. This guy might not feel he can win a championship any longer in Houston. You look at their roster, you go, they're not better than 5 teams right now.
So, okay, I get that. It's ironic, and we'll talk about that. On the other hand, Dave Hardesty tweeted, if there was a team with John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, Eric Gordon, P.J. Tucker, Christian Wood, and Daniel House, that team would be on Harden's list of acceptable team options where he would want to be traded to. I think he's assuming that. Is there a chance that they can both be correct?
I mean, I don't think that there can be, because we've seen that James Harden can't win here. And I don't think the moves that the Rockets have made in the offseason have made this particular team more viable as an NBA title threat. I don't think their odds have improved with their offseason moves. So no, I don't think they can both be right. And I think that, James Harden, what Kenny Smith is talking about, James Harden wanting to be essentially the lead dog on a team, and he's got this window of where he can be the lead dog. But then he's saying, maybe I'll go to the Nets, where I don't think James Harden would be the lead dog.
No, he wouldn't be.
I mean, so I don't know what his priority is. If his priority is doing what Kevin Durant did and getting onto a team that he knows can win a championship, even if people are going to look down on it and kind of put an asterisk on it. But at least Kevin Durant with that Golden State team, even though Steph Curry was a defending MVP, a lot of people had a lot of respect, and a lot of people said that, and obviously the Warriors could win without KD, but KD was still probably the best player on that team. I don't think James Harden is the best player on the Nets if KD comes back healthy. Yeah. And if KD doesn't come back healthy, or Kyrie doesn't come back healthy, are you really in a better position? I don't know what James wants, really. I just know that he wants out of here. I know that this place doesn't fit him anymore, and I really think it's because once you burn down everything around you and you say, well, if we get rid of this guy, it'll be better. And then if we bring in this guy, it'll be better. And that doesn't work. And then if we get rid of him, eventually there's just one guy standing left in the room. Dwight Howard, Chris Paul, Russ Westbrook, Mike D'Antoni, hell, even Daryl Morey, the GM of the team, all gone. There's only one guy left standing in that room. There's no one left to point a finger at. I think now is the time where he's like, I got to get out of here and I got to bamboozle some other franchise into thinking that I can win them a championship.
Yeah. I know one thing I want, and that's a cold, clean, crisp, refreshing Coors Light, AJ. The world's most refreshing beer. It's Texas Chill, baby. You know how it's Texas Chill? It's Blue Mountains. That's right. I can tell. AJ can never tell his beer is cold because he doesn't have Blue Mountains. Mine, I know, is cold. I can look at it. It's cold. I can see it. It's freezing. It's refreshing. It's the world's most refreshing beer. Pick one up. Make it your official beer of whatever you do. I'm making it my official beer of golf today. You make it your official beer of whatever you do. Coors Light. Cold, clean, crisp, refreshing. Yeah, it's so ironic that, James has got a couple of years left to be that lead dog, and he doesn't want to be the lead dog. And I think James is being kind of a realist here. And he sees, well, LeBron had to get together with his boys, and KD had to get together up there and win, and Kawhi got together with Paul George. Hey, how come I don't get to go somewhere and get together? I think part of it might be that maybe he's overstayed his welcome here in Houston, and I think people know who he is, and I think maybe he's got a stigma here, so he can maybe he wants to change that narrative. I guess I could certainly see that. Maybe he doesn't believe in Tillman. And you know what? I could see that. I could see that that's something that bothers him. Maybe he didn't feel like he was big enough he wasn't treated like the superstar that got to pick the head coach, handpick the head coach, which by all sources, Stephen Silas wasn't his first choice. Okay. If they had chosen John Lucas as head coach, you think we would be here right now?
I don't know. I know that I don't think John Lucas as head coach would make this team any more viable as a title contender.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. And you know what? You're right. This is all on James. I mean, he is the last. He's gotten rid of it. He's whacked everybody. He's the Jack Easterby of the Rockets. He just got everybody whacked. Only Jack Easterby wants to stay, and James wants. That's the only difference between the two of them. James wants out of it.
Here's what I see when you talk about, James wants to, he's got 2 years left. He wants to get with someone. How come LeBron could do it? How come KD could do it? What player is out there that we consider a lesser player than James Harden, but still good enough to elevate James Harden to a title status? Because if Chris Paul and Russ Westbrook aren't that, who is the guy? Because if you take a LeBron or a Kevin Durant or a Kawhi Leonard, it's widely agreed that those guys are better players than James Harden. So if he goes and plays with those guys, he's not the lead dog on a championship team. If he goes to Miami or Milwaukee and plays with Giannis, he's not the best player on that team anymore. He's playing with a 2-time defending NBA MVP. There's just not a spot. There's not a player out there who can be a number 2 to James that will make James a title contender, in my opinion.
Well, and I don't know that any of those stars want to play with James, if you want to know the truth.
I don't either.
Yeah, because the way he hogs the basketball. Now, maybe with those stars, he changes. We've seen him in the NBA All-Star games change his game. He doesn't just dribble. He does not massage the ball. He gets it to other guys. So maybe he would take a back seat to somebody he really respects.
Well, I thought the whole deal was he really respected Russ Westbrook. He really respected Chris Paul. Like, I don't want to play with a guy who keeps burning his teammates everywhere he goes. I can't imagine that guys who are winning titles without James Harden. It was one thing for the Warriors to say, you know what, let's bring in Kevin Durant. What could it hurt? And it didn't hurt. I mean, it was a good fit. Can you imagine the Warriors saying, you know what, let's bring in James Harden? There's zero chance a team that's capable of winning titles doesn't want to add James Harden because they feel it'll be too disruptive.
Absolutely.